I am live. How are you? What's going down? The price of this, or the title of this is Losing the Old is the Price of the New. That may sound really weird. Losing the old is the price of the new. Well, what is the old? Well, what do you have right now that's not working out for you? Feels really heavy, has lots of density, struggle, suffering, pain, etc. You've been living just above survival in this life for a very long time. I'm 54 years old, and there's so much that's fallen away. I attempted a 3D reality. I attempted to be married, dad, have a career, be an engineer, have my own business, do healing work, everything. And it all fell away. And you may be hanging on for dear life to that job, to that belief, to making some money, to try and get ahead, etc., etc., etc. And it's probably not working out. If it's anything like me, everything that I had that I thought was safety, was my survival, etc., fell away. With the recent events of the world, my business got destroyed. I had a career as a corporate engineer for a company called Nortel, and it went bankrupt out from under me, and they destroyed that basically to make a bunch of rich people richer. I had a divorce shortly after that to basically take self-love back for myself, and a lot of people may not understand that, but when your guidance comes in and it says you're going to die in 5 months unless you leave your marriage right now because you're giving too much love and you're going to have a heart attack. Yikes. That's not much of an ultimatum. It's kind of like a gun to your head. And then a whole bunch of people came into my life and pushed me to do it. And my wife even poked me so hard that eventually I had to do it. So that fell away, and then I rebuilt and gave her half of everything and rebuilt. And then events came in the world, and I lost the home that I rebuilt and the place where I could keep my kids and that kind of stuff. They gladly moved back in with their mom, but all the safety things fell away for me. Corporate career gone, the pension with it, the house that I was living in, my marriage, and then my business fell apart because I could no longer doing IT work for people. I could no longer come into their business without being something stuck in my arm. And thank God I didn't, because we now know some of that. So I will completely tell you, if your world's falling apart, it's probably a good thing. And I've been through it. It's been 12 years since, well, the company went bankrupt before that, but 12 years since my divorce. Probably 5 years since I lost the house, and it just feels like free fall. And then I'm trying to make money, and I'm trying to get stuff going, and I've been trying to release this Awakening 101 breath work that I've been planning to release, and everything is fighting me. The system called Square that I was going to use for it it didn't sell digital products, even though it claimed to sell digital products. And I had to buy something else, and the integration to something else doesn't work. And the links don't work. And finally, I got it all set up. And I've wasted all this time trying to make money, get back on my feet, all these kind of things. And the world just keeps. And yeah, I have a big part in that. I'm in my own fear, in my own doubt, in my own struggle, etc. But I've hit bottom, bounced off a bunch of times, and don't feel bad, don't feel wrong. Yes, I still have those little fears, but I'll tell you right now, this whole world is designed around fear and survival. Get a job, get a this, or we're going to take your house, or we're going to take your vehicle, or we're going to do whatever. And then you get credit and live off of credit. And then they charge you 30% interest, which is the most evil thing that can ever happen. These demons of banking, etc., will just tear you limb from limb. And they don't care. They don't care if you got enough money to live or whatever. You'll go and do a bankruptcy and you're basically in slavery to them, and they'll give you as minimum money as possible, the smallest piece of shit car you can have, and you basically just indentured slavery until that amount is paid off. These credit agreements and consumer agreements, and I know many people that have done it, and I've stared it in the face. But when you don't have anything, they can't take anything from you. It's kind of interesting. So that's kind of life related stuff, but at the same time, I'm losing friends. People that I thought were friends have fallen away for the stupidest reasons. I have a buddy that's a chiropractor, and one day he said, come out and help work on my equipment or whatever. I still do IT work for him. And basically, he wasn't clear, but he intended the next day, not the day that we were having the conversation, but he says, I work from this to this or whatever, come after this, and we're going to have wings and we'll do all the work. So I drove all the way out there on a misunderstanding, which was an hour and a half travel time. And he was working that day. And I was like, oh crap, this is kind of pissing me off. So I went home. Wasn't too angry about it. And then he got his secretary to phone me back. I thought we were friends. His secretary basically said, oh, you did this and you said that it was tomorrow and all this kind of stuff. I never said the slightest thing. I said the earliest I could look at some of the stuff was tomorrow. I had intended to, I was in a course that day and I was intending to log in from remote and fix it. And he wasn't clear about what day he was referring to. So I wasted all my time. There wasn't a single sorry or anything. It was just, hey, your text said this or whatever. And he just fell away. I apologized. I said, hey, look at this. I misunderstood what you were saying or whatever. And he never even bothered to respond. So it's like, that sure don't feel like friendship. So let it be. And then he gets his girlfriend to phone me up and ask for IT support. And the crazy shit that they asked me to do, it's like, figure out on Google how to change it. And it's like, well, do you have the Google business details to log in? I don't know. Nobody did that. And it's like, the business exists. Well, something's wrong with it. And I said, I can't get that back for you. If somebody's done it, you're going to have to find that. She couldn't find it, but she wanted me to fix it for her. And then here, come out and do a printer or whatever. I sent her listings to get a $70 printer, and I assume they did it because they never called me back. But this is the craziness that's going on. People want things for free. They don't want to spend money on it. They want help. They want value and all this kind of stuff, but they won't value other people. And it very clearly shows me that there's something going on. Everybody's being pushed to their edges right now. And I'm not judging. I'm just saying that's not an energy that I want to have exist in my life right now. So I'll step over here and say, have a good day. I have another friend. I used to walk in the park with him all the time. And it was like walking with a broken record. He'd talk about how his body hurt, how his son had died, how his wife was taking too many pills. It was almost like the same story every day. And it was eating me alive slowly. And then he dragged me into a bunch of racial stuff and complaints that he has about the world and other stuff and want me to agree with him. And I decided that energy wasn't serving me anymore. I had a woman in the park that I was attracted to. I expressed my attraction to her, and she wasn't interested, which is absolutely fine. But she wants to be with me all the time. She wants to talk with me all the time. She wants to walk with me, but she's not interested. And I didn't want that because all she talks about is the same kind of leftist liberal bullshit about why am I not V'd and other things. And just like, so I met her the other day. I bumped into her and it was so crystal clear. Our energies did not match. It's like, well, she was talking with somebody else. I said, I'll leave you to it. You have a good day. Nice to see you. Oh, but how are you doing? And what's going on? I'm doing great. You have a good day. Bye. She knew it was done. It was gone. And I'm seeing that with everybody. People that have been my friends for years. I'm sitting and I'm looking at it now and I'm saying, oh, I had these blinders on. I was codependent. I was looking for attachment. I was getting fed off of other people's validation of me and liking me and walking with me and calling me and all this kind of shit. And I was living outside myself in love. And I'm like, nope, can't do that anymore. So you may be seeing this fall away. You may be seeing struggles with your family. I've had lots. I had a big showdown with my dad. My dad was complaining of sore back and all this kind of stuff, and he's getting dementia. And basically, I went to his house 2 hours drive away and helped him. My brother's helping him all the time. My sister's helping him all the time because they live nearby, and got him to the chiropractor and got him massage and all this kind of stuff. And he couldn't remember any of the exercises that they gave him. Luckily, I was there, so I wrote it up. I spent like 3 hours prepping this whole process, taking pictures of him doing it on the floor as I was guiding him so he could see pictures of it, and sent him all this stuff. And he was so happy. He was so pleased. And then the next time I go there, I was kind of reflecting for him the work that I do with people and talking about stuff and that kind of stuff. And I mentioned to him that he was kind of shitting on himself all day long. Oh, I'm having a bad day and this and that. And he was always negative. And I said, well, how about you be positive? And he got angry. He started yelling at me. He's like, you quit picking on me and blah, 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 blah. And I said, you wanted my help. And I said, this is help. And if you're not happy with that, you can shut the fuck up. Because my father had yelled and screamed at me every day of my youth life to get me to eat vegetables. And I basically saw him turn into that again and got an opportunity as an adult to respond and say in a way that, and I was angry. I was angry. I had to leave the house and take a 2-hour walk after that. My mother was scared shitless that I was leaving right then and there, which I did shortly thereafter. And I came back and I said, you can't talk to me like that anymore. Even if you're scared, even if you're uncomfortable, I will be here. I've given you these exercise programs and all this kind of stuff. I couldn't walk away from my family, but it makes me not want to be there when those projections came to knock me down, to shut me down, to stop me from helping him. Yeah, it's his choice, but he was asking for my help and I was giving it to him, and he got mad at me, and I reflected back exactly what he did to me. And he probably won't get mad at me again. How many times is this happening in your world? How often is that happening? So the old was, yes, I would try and please my father, and he could scream at me and yell at me and be very disrespectful for me, which went into a whole bunch of areas of my life. Any other masculine role model for years, I couldn't stand up to anybody that raised their voice. But I learned in my life and my business and other things to stand up to people, and some amazing things happen. And now I got to stand up to my dad, and some amazing things are happening. So we're being given the opportunity to end the old ways that were patterns. It was my dad's wound that was projecting on me, and then it came into me, and then I tried to carry it and project it on my kids, which I learned and stopped. But how much damage are we doing propagating these old patterns? Lots. So I won't let it happen again. And the price of the new is the exit of the old. All these people, all these things, all these old ways, all these expectations of how relationships work out, how people you're talking to might come at you or have some expectation or whatever, all yours, all mine. I'm as completely as self-responsible as I can get. But it's pretty ugly to look at. It looks like my whole world's just crashed and burned. And I'm sitting here waiting for a new reality. You may be feeling the same thing. But that new reality is growing in me. It's like I'm laying in bed this morning and it's like, okay, why did these guys show up? I had a bunch of old business partners and old ex show up. I was guided to unblock my ex-girlfriend. And it was quite hilarious because it was kind of a test to see, but maybe she'd evolved and taken this push, and immediately she came back. Oh, you unblocked me and blah, 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 blah. It was like a happy puppy and all pleased. And She wanted back in. She tried to apologize, saying the same old apologetic excuses and bullshit. Oh, my inner child was sad and blah, 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 blah. Let her in. This would be the 7th or 8th time. I can't even remember. It's just stupid. And as soon as I saw that and I saw the reaction, instead of like just loving respect and listening to my lives and taking benefit from those or whatever, no, she wanted back in. She wanted the old way, the attachment, the codependency. And it was just crystal clear in that one response that you give. It was like a paragraph long. It was just like, nope, you have not changed. I'm not interested. And then Facebook has this thing where you can't block a person again for up to 2 weeks. So I had to listen to her crap for 2 weeks and her apologies and other stuff. But it wasn't sincere. It was not true. And it was just like, I am not at that vibration anymore. It almost, this may sound judgmental, but it almost disgusted me to see what vibration level I was at before when I allowed her in. And she did a lot of things. I was loving her just like I did with my ex-wife, and giving her love and all these kind of things, and offering to spend time with her on weekends and this kind of stuff. And then she was manipulating it all. It's like, oh, I can't go. I got to work with my daughter. I got to do all this kind of stuff. And then finally it became crystal clear that she wasn't willing to work in the relationship. She wanted me to manipulate and change all my schedule and all this kind of stuff. And she's like, I'm a teacher and I'm too busy and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, well, you don't have enough time for me. Somebody that's going to have enough time for me is going to be able to be flexible, or I will agree from the beginning. But she said she was being flexible, but she'd always cancel at the last minute, disappointing the fuck out of me. And she got a rise out of that. So that was my ex-girlfriend. I had a business partner that I worked with, and basically he took advantage of me. He expected me to work for him and not pay me for an extended period of time until he got paid. But he hadn't told me any of these things. So I sat, and it got me into real bind because I couldn't make rent all of a sudden 1 month because this had happened. And then he's surprised that I was mad. It's like, just because I'm a business owner doesn't mean I get paid when you get paid. If I'm doing the work and the expectation is this, I could have probably made a deal with him where we could have done something like that if I would have known and would have prepared and had some money up front or whatever. But anyways, it blew up and I had to walk away at that time. And then he pinged me out of the blue like 2 or 3 days ago, and it's like, are we good now or whatever? And I said, I think we're complete. Thank you. Have a good day. And here's what was going on in my life. And I take responsibility. I had money fears and all these kinds of things. And basically he didn't respond to that, which would have helped and probably brought him back into friendship. But he just basically, last night, 9 o'clock at night, he says, oh, here's some shirts that don't fit me. Would you be interested in them? And I'm like, what does that mean? Yes, it's a trying to reconnect and trying to make up for whatever. But all I was looking for was an explanation, or him to admit that he was in the same fear. So you may be seeing this happen over and over and over in your life right now. Dive into it. It's all got purpose. For me, it was like, this isn't resonating with me, and somebody that's not integrity and can tell me the truth or admit their mistakes or other things is all I'm looking for. But the universe is testing us. Are we going to go back and be the old way and codependent and letting people that use us and have no conscious awareness of what they're doing? Or are you going to go into something new? I'm going into something new. The people I invite into my life are something new communities, new spaces, etc. And even when I go into those communities and somebody shows up that's still in those codependent energies or whatever, I can be crystal clear and say, no, this isn't working for me. You have a good day. I'm walking over here. See you later. This is what's happening right now. Use it. Use it to propel yourself. Use it to choose the 5D timeline, a timeline where your respect is important, your self-love, and it's all about self-love. I'm choosing me in every freaking situation for me. I've had to do it so many times, and I'm tired of playing the other game. So try it. You'll be surprised. I give these examples not to bore you or whatever, but to tell you some of the nuances of how these things are happening and how complicated and weavy and all this kind of stuff, and you're getting to look at every facet of yourself. Are you owning it? Are you serving yourself, or are you not? Are you keeping yourself in the same codependent bullshit? I sure was. But I made some new choices. I'm glad I did. Wasn't easy, but I did. So try it. You'll be surprised. I love you all. I hope this helps. Love yourself. Choose new things. Choose the better. Choose the new timeline every day, and you'll be better off. I love you. See you soon.